smart shares as usual. New Zealand market opens in about 4 minutes. What are we on? 15 minute. Who put that on the 15 minute? Trying to get a little bit more of a closer view of what's going on. Now, I apologise for my square screen. I've been looking into it. It's quite annoying. I want full screen. Even the old Bandicam. I got Movavi, but even the old Bandicam, I've uploaded it, it's still square, and that was just straight record and upload. So, I don't know. Nothing ever seems to work right for me as far as technical stuff goes. Although I persevere. Charts are too small. If I squish it up too much, you can't really see too much. You can see basically which way the arrows are going and how much room there is still to go. So we were looking, or I was looking at these on around about the 15th, 14th of April, around about there, in those couple of days. As they'd crossed the trigger line, a lot of these smart shares, and I just know, because this is my thing, return to previous levels, that they were going to be returning to previous levels, and a lot of them have. Some of them a little bit slower than others. Some of them were on slight downtrends beforehand, but you just can project this forward. These patterns, it's just all part of the undulation. So I've done that on this one. NZ dividend companies went down a bit last week, but don't panic. Emerging markets, I knew that was going to be taking off shortly because it was lagging and Europe were opening. This is a month and a half ago. What have we got here? Emerging markets. So there's still, where's my ruler? There's still, that's the price there. A little 5%er. It's on the move. Trend is your friend. Bet on the trend. As soon as anything breaks above a new high, assess it and maybe jump in. Doesn't cost you anything to buy, doesn't cost you anything to sell. Look at the previous trajectory before the crash. Let's open this up so you can see some candles. This is global bond, so there's not much movement in the bonds, but you can see this a nice little steady path there. Japanese market was down a bit. Healthcare and innovation, that's what we're in at the moment. All about healthcare. So jump on that, mate. This is the easiest time in the world to be getting in the markets. You'd have to be you'd have to have, I don't know, the worst luck in the world to be picking the wrong ETF. ETFs are relatively safe with still very good returns on your money. Look, it's just 14% here and buried now. Still has 8% to go. We've just been looking at equities, the emerging markets. This is the US equities, right? The S&P, the NZX are all heading higher beyond belief. This is simply just lagging. Buy it now and you will make money. That's my humble opinion. 8% there to catch on to previous trajectory. Probably looking at 20% up here by the time it gets there. On your money. You put in 10 grand, you make 2 grand. Put in 1,000, you'll make 200. Easy peasy, Japanesey. Right, these are past patterns that I have just copied from back here somewhere, because history repeats, patterns repeat, algorithms trade these markets, and that's how these algorithms are made and based on. What happened last time? This happened. Look left. And that's what they do. I didn't make this pattern up. It was already played out previous. And you can see how it has followed it reasonably well. Better than me just having a guess. Just got to try and pick a reasonably accurate pattern to the one you're already looking at from where it's just left off. US small caps. I don't know why any of these small caps or big caps are actually dropping. A little bit of a shaky week, but we finished strong. And large value, they should all be heading back up. Buy the dip. That would be my suggestion. I've just put on here, this is the US dollar. When people start to panic, they buy US dollars. Or buy the Euro USD, because it's supposed to be a safe haven, although the Euro USD is as volatile as anything. But we can see it's coming down a wee bit, so that's a good sign. We got a wick here. Wicks are always good, shows that sellers were in. We got the VIX, which is also a bearish candle, but we're still not out of the woods yet. The next candle could be anything. I don't like this pattern. I'll click on there, extend right, okay, take it off. So, you know, we just need to be breaking some trend lines here. The overall mood will be negative, so that's still good though. Like on currency strength, it would probably be about a 60% currency strength, high probability of going down. Now we're looking at Bitcoin. I have projected on a post, I don't know why I haven't got an arrow, but we're probably heading down here in my opinion. We got a strong trend line here above it. A lot of people think it's going to go higher, but from what I have discovered, Bitcoin likes to return to previous levels, and there's a big previous level here. It's like it goes back down to collect money, to stop everybody out and collect money. Then it may possibly continue on, but it's part of We do this for a weekly. So we can see here with Bitcoin, when it was not worth a lot of money, this is $0 here, way back, and in 2017, 18, it was only 2018 it reached all-time highs. It's only 2 years ago. And you can see we've just got a repeating pattern here, up, down, up, down. What are we doing here? Up, down. We can project this pattern here from the top. Let me measure. Pattern here to there, and we can put that there, and we can squish it in, trying to keep it relative. And I predict that that is the most probable path it will take. So we're up here at the moment. You can see it's undulated here. You can add that together. That's that undulation. It's now hitting a high, and it's going to come down. Okay, this high is probably going to go a little bit higher, hit that trend line, and come back down. Because that's what it does. It follows patterns. Some people think it's going to break out of this trend line here. That's what they think. But I'm going to say, I must have a picture. Where's the picture? Got any pictures? Here we go. Where's a cross? We need a cross. That's the wrong color. Need to make it red. Okay. Right, I'm gonna put, where's me other, there we go, where's me tick, must be a tick, and this is tick, and that's the wrong color, and we're gonna go green. Right, that's what I predict. Oh my god, sometimes these things are very slow. So we already got down to the bottom. Now we're gonna look at oil. This is where oil crashed through the floor. I had already put a previous pattern on from the last crash that we'd had back sometime. I can't even remember where I got it from. I have to go back and have a look. But it showed that we were going to go to negative numbers. There's no way in the world at the time that you'd think that we'd be going to negative numbers. But we did. It smashed through the floor. Because nobody wanted to own oil. Nobody wanted to buy oil. And all the futures contracts were coming to expiry, and they all just had no one to sell to, and they were just giving it away. Apparently, people who actually owned oil were paying people to take it off their hands. So I have marked out that we're probably not going to go much higher. Where are the oil futures? I think this is it. Oil futures don't seem to be growing very much. These are the future dates, future contracts that I'm happy to buy oil at $42 in July 2021. So they may go a little bit higher as time progresses, but we are not looking like things are going to be going too high. We're here now, by the end of the year, $41 at this stage. I have marked out. So the market's open now. I have marked out that we will go to $41.25. All it is based on is a Elliott wave projection. From there to there, from there to there, and they work. If you're in a uptrending market, that is your target. This is your first target, also based on an Elliott wave, and also based on the fact, not going to come into view. Let's try 4. No. That this is filling the gap. Alright, so we got 2 Elliott waves and filling the gap. It's going to take a big push to break above. Not saying it won't. You just keep an eye on the oil's futures prices. As you can see, they're ticking away live as we speak. The NASDAQ, need to keep an eye on the NASDAQ. Again, this is the 2008 crash. Look what's happened. Look how it has followed the previous path. I have posted a idea and it followed this pretty much as it was laid out. Has even shot past those. So basically this is where we are now, which says that we're in for a bit of a downtrend possibly. Maybe a little bit sideways, but then a downtrend and then an uptrend. Or this could all just be flattened out and it'll head straight to here, because it's not really taking too much notice of any coronavirus panic station news. So the NASDAQ seems to be a law unto itself. That's where I predict these lines are too thick. I was going to say thin. And the same with the S&P, a little bit more laggy. Again, reasonably following 2008 crash that it had. So this area here is this area. So it's gone up. Looks like it might want to come down a bit, then back up and down and up and down. That's what markets do. Overall, we're heading to here. There's no way in the world the Fed are going to let anything happen to their precious market, or Donald Trump is going to let anything happen to his precious stock market. Dow Jones, bit sad. Don't care about the Dow Jones, but it's there because some people look at it. NASDAQ 50, New Zealand. Okay, finally we're looking at something in New Zealand. Yeah. So we've returned to previous levels nearly. That's our first target. And we're in a very bullish signal here to move higher. So I predict that we will move higher this week. I'm just trying to find another pattern. See this pattern here? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got a reversal pattern kicking in. I think they're called 3 white soldiers, but these are green soldiers. So we got down. Looks a little bit undulating. 1, 2, 3. But that's a bullish candle. I'm going to go for this one anyway, because that's very bullish. And that's what I'm going to predict. That's my projection for the New Zealand stock market. So that is a bundle of the top 50 companies on the New Zealand share market. We are heading higher, in my humble opinion. Let's look at the Australian index. It's a little bit, it's got a long way to go still. But the ETFs have been ramping. So this is lagging the 2008 crash. But there's no way Australia's going to crash. I know why. It's because they got all that coronavirus. So we might be heading a little bit sideways for a while, really. I'm afraid, if not possibly down a little bit with the Australian. Let's have a look at gold. Gold edging higher. It broke this level here, let's say there, and is now moving higher and higher. Goldman Sachs has said gold will go to 3,000, and from my experience, when Goldman Sachs upgrade or say anything, they said that Tesla were going to go to 1,000 when it was 600, and it did. Immediately people jumped on it. So if Goldman Sachs say gold is going to go to 3,000, there's a reasonable chance it will, in my opinion. Silver, a little bit laggy from gold, but it's broken out above that high anyway. So it's a good sign. What's left? Look left. Next target left is, it's not hard to do, you know what I mean? It's just below the higher there. That's our next target. Can draw a nice little straight arrow, but it could pull back because it is a little bit overextended. But then look at this over here. Look at this pattern. So we've got similar patterns here. Look how it pushed up unbelievably. Now I know silver can go through the roof. That is my prediction. Everything seems rosy at the moment. Economies are opening up. Companies actually use silver in production of things. Well, when I say economies opening up, US has taken a bit of a back step. It's my target if it broke lower, but it didn't. What's left? Nothing. Right, we have a look at FinViz. This was Friday's close. The Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 through the roof. Right, made up for the whole of the week. Look at all these lovely jubbly sectors, all a bit green. Technology leading the way, but it's a little bit red. Maybe people taking a bit of profit. Here's a good little website to have a look at. I'll leave this in the link. Shows some sectors. Dow Jones, S&P, we've already looked at those, NASDAQ, Dow Jones Transport, but stay at home stocks, and you can click on year to date. Now around about here I have predicted myself, just by looking at it, Netflix will go to $800. If you go to my channel, so you got to save this. If you go, once it's finished going round and round, saving it to the cloud, if you go to here, you'll see all the publications I've made in the last 3, 4, 5 days, mostly based on New Zealand stock market. And there's one here I'm just testing as far as stocks trading. That's private, I think, that one, so you might not see that. Gold, Placeit Group, Selloff, S&P 500, MetLife Care, Euro, Bitcoin, Dow Gets, Meridian Energy, which is explained up here again regarding the selling from Rio Tinto of TY Point, what the possible outcomes could possibly be as far as projections. But I was supposed to be showing you something. I forgot what it was. What a friggin' halfwit. Turner's Automotive. Oh, I can't remember for the life of me. Something to do over here. Netflix, that's what it was. Why didn't somebody say something? In here is Netflix, but it could be on the next page. Could be this one. Because the good thing about Tradeview is you can save Netflix, you can save your idea and go back and have a look. So I've said here we'll go to 800, I reckon, underpriced in my humble opinion. That's just looking at it and taking into account all the news that goes on about Netflix and the state that the world is in. Netflix is about the only thing out there. So now I can click it and we can see that it is actually going higher. Okay. So that's always a good thing to do. Any one of this. Ones like this here, the VIX. I was watching the VIX closely at the time and I said, looks weak, big boys are open, don't see any panic selling of the SPY. Now market, just so you know. Oh, don't see any selling of the SPY now. Just so you know. I think that market word there should not be there. But we'll click it and see what happened. What did it do? Exactly what I said. S&P 500, it's just right to me, so I'll click on it. This is the weekly look though. So on the weekly we are going higher. That's a previous pattern. This is a 2008 pattern. Okay, things are stronger now. It didn't come down to this level because we've got the Fed pumping in money like they have never done before. Here's that NASDAQ one. Posted this. Look how it's followed previous pattern, which is what we were looking at before. Oil. Alright, and we'll nudge up just to hit these lines. That's your next target. Then you reassess. So there's just a little bit about that. If you go and click on any of those and have a look, maybe like them. If you think it looks reasonably good assessment, because there's also on there an analysis. I've got my screens backwards at the moment. An analysis on the company that you're looking at. So if I have posted, say, that it was Obano, there will be this screenshot there available to look at with all the fundamentals, whether or not it pays dividends, the last 5 years earnings, any relevant news that's not old or whatever, might be a bit old sometimes, not my problem or fault. It's who is it? Share chat, what they do, current trend, how much they've moved in the day recently, current signals from investing.com, target price from Yahoo, intrinsic price, Benjamin Graham, return to previous level, how much is still left in the move, share volume, market cap, earnings dates, any relevant news coming up you might want to be aware of, and gives it a score, a rating. So I'm looking for an 85% pass on these ratings here, this square, from the top of the square, sorry. And Abano has only made 50%. So not brilliant, but it looks like it's still in a slightly upward trend. And that is the intrinsic value for the year, $4.60. So it's telling us that it thinks it's still going to go higher. So back to here. I'll leave this link here. There's far too many to go through, but quite interesting, I believe. Costco, etc. Airline Stocks. Oh, exciting stuff. Now, from what I've been hearing, the market should go higher. Banks are buying. The Fed is buying. So, up, up, and away. Also going to leave you with a quote. Quote for the day: the more your money works for you, the less you have to work for money. Alright? I'm going to like it. It's probably going to tell me to leave a like. I have to log in. Well, I don't want to. See you later. Alright, well, everybody take care. Be good, be kind. Like, share and subscribe if you want to. And don't forget to click on the link for my Tradeview account if you want to. Okay, it has no effect on me. It's up to you. I don't see anybody else trying to help people in the New Zealand share market. It's not just yabba 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 about something. I'm actually giving you technical analysis of a company on the chart where I think the next price will go, and I'm reasonably accurate with my pricing, with my picks. Go back and have a look. Again, don't forget, you also get a picture of the fundamentals. Snapshot, screenshot. Who else or where else can you get that from? I haven't come across anything like it. That's why I've done it. So again, take care. I'll see you next time.